Hi Jane, how are you?
Hi, Rachel. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. To start with a movie like this, when I was talking to the director before, I said I should have known better with the title, but I was just like not thinking. And so it shocked me when it was, obviously a play on It's a Wonderful Life, that it
Yeah.
literally is It's a Wonderful Life. And so to kind of see this story that is, what if what if Clarence and George Bailey maybe had a thing? Loved that.
Yeah.
Was very into it. But for you, what was the joy of, getting to dig into this character that kind of wants to rid, like, wants to get out of this world and doesn't see kind of the importance of like her decision as a character. And for you, like, what was the joy of getting to dig into that?
Yeah. I think I can definitely relate to Winnie in the sense that, she's in I felt like this in high school. Like she's in with the popular kids, but she still feels like she's an outsider. Like she never really feels like she truly fits in, even though like these are all of her friends, like from childhood, and we just happen to like grow up and they're the popular kids, and I'm just like here. And I think that's why, you see in the beginning, she kind of reaches out or tries to reach out to Bernie because there's something that she sees there that she relates to. And I really, really loved that. I loved putting a spin on, just like the popular girl. Like that's not real. And I loved how realistic she was in the script. Part of the description that Michael used when we first see Winnie is that she has an air of loneliness. And I just loved that description. And you really relate to it. And, I kind of bounced from group to group in high school. And I felt like that was probably what Winnie did too. And so it's just really cool to be able to kind of dig into that. And it's always going back and digging into when you're a high schooler is always interesting to like look through, and make a entirely new teenager out of what you have. So it was just cool to be able to do that. And oh,
When it's kind of interesting too, because Winnie, I don't know exactly how to describe this character because Winnie is kind of by definition would be a final girl, but is that's the start of the movie. So I don't necessarily know how that fits in because it's like that is the start of the film. So then that is how you would describe her for the rest of the movie. But it is very cool that that is like the what the catalyst of her character arc throughout this whole movie is that when he has a character kind of has to step in and you learn like her brother would be dead, her whole family would kind of like all of these things would just go
mhm.
awry if Winnie was not there. And I think that's such a cool thing to kind of get to unpack, especially in like this campy horror movie set during Christmas. Um, and like for you, obviously that's it's such a weird genre that we don't really get to dive into. Obviously, there are movies like Violent Night and the like there's we have weird Christmas horror and weird like action horror or action Christmas movies and things like that. That what about this genre in particular is exciting to kind of get to explore because it is so unique to have that as a thing to dive into because we don't get to that often with the holiday
Yeah.
season.
Yeah. I've always been a fan of horror. I love horror. And this, I hadn't really been that familiar with the sorry, my voice. Hadn't really been that familiar with the horror Christmas genre. And so it was really cool. I think I'd seen Krampus like once or twice. But I beyond that, I hadn't seen a lot of these. And I really, really fell in love with everything about it. Blood looks really great in a Christmas setting. The red matches.
Mhm.
So it was just cool to be able to find a new genre to sink my teeth into. And I'm a fan of any movie. I will watch any movie once, I always say. So, it was really cool.
When it's fun too, I like Justin Long doing whatever it is he's currently up to because like when I went and saw Barbarian, I was like, what are we doing? Why is Bill Skarsgård the nice guy and why is Justin Long like Like, why did they switch them? Why are you trying to mess with my brain? And in this movie, his plastic surgery face just like messed with me so much. But then also like Joel McHale being a good dad, I was like, this feels wrong. Um, what was it like, kind of, obviously getting to work with, I don't want to say two guys, but like those two, I have to imagine were wild to kind of mess with around on set because just
Oh yeah.
knowing their energy, I'm like, I don't know that I can handle that.
Oh yeah. I mean, Joel, like everything with Joel is a bit. Like
Yeah,
he could be drinking water and it would be a bit. You know, that's just him. That's his personality. That's his essence. But it was just so cool to be. I mean, I've never met anybody like that before in my life. So that was cool. And he also was really, really dad figure to me on set too. He'd be like, "Oh, you got a problem? Like, I'll go take care of it," you know? And I was like, "Thanks, Dad." Um, he was really, really sweet, and I loved working with him. He was actually only there for the first week of filming. We shot for 18 days, and he was only there for like 4, I think. Um, and out. He's always busy, but he's a really cool guy, and he's one of those guys that always says yes to everything. And so it was really cool to be able to just see him do his thing. And like I think right before he'd just got back from a trip to I don't know where, but he was like about to go to England to film like be a host on some like talk show. I was like, what? How? You have children. Like you have children and a wife. Do they not miss you? Like
He's like, gotta go.
he's like, gotta go pay the bills. I'm like, okay. But Justin is super cool. And when they first met on set, because apparently they'd never met each other before, which is kind of crazy because you would think like in all their circles they might have like ran into each other. They never met, and it was like they became like instant best friends. It was hilarious. These two like old dudes. I actually have this like picture of Justin like fake like throwing a chair onto Joel's head, but that was it. Like they were just goofballs. They would just joke around. It was like having two class clowns at work with you all day, but I loved it. It was amazing. And they're also like, for as much as they joke around, they're so professional and can get stuff done. And that's just so cool to see.
Yeah, and I do think too, it is just so weirdly sweet to also, like I said earlier, in the midst of this campy horror movie, have like a cute, like queer romance at the center of it too. Because it is like, played for a joke that it's like Clarence and George Bailey, but it is
Mhm.
also just like a very sweet romance. And for you, what was kind of how is it to have that kind of heart in the middle of a movie like this? Because it is, I don't want to spoil it, but like when it like towards the
Yeah.
end is that is still like such a nice moment. So I was like, oh no, and then I was like, yay, this is such a nice, happy little moment at the end
Yeah.
of this kind of movie that I was like, how is this gonna end? Where are we going?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's what makes it like so fun and campy, It's like this just like out of the blue moment where you're like, yes, that's what I wanted the entire time, but also, oh my God, what has just happened? What have I just watched? And that's kind of like Michael Kennedy's brain, which I love. But also the kiss was not planned. Jess and I at the end or at the beginning of filming, we were like, yeah, so we have too much chemistry between the two of us on screen. So I think we're gonna need to put a kiss somewhere in here, Michael. And Michael was like, yeah, let me know where to put it. And then everybody else kind of got on board, all the producers, Tyler got on board. It was hilarious. But yeah, they were like, let's just make it more queer. I was like, okay.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for talking with me today. I
Thank
love
you.
that I
Yeah.
was so surprised watching this movie. I was like, this is so cute and weird and hoary, and I love it so much. It's such a weird, scary movie. I'm obsessed with it. So thank you so much for talking with me today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.